The Philadelphia Experiment, Paranormal Navy Disaster? The Philadelphia Experiment, also known as Project Rainbow, is a purported military experiment that took place in Philadelphia during the Second World War. The experiment was said to involve the use of electrical and magnetic fields to make an entire naval ship invisible to radar. In this video, we will explore the history of the Philadelphia experiment, including its origin and the claims made about it. We will look at the evidence that does exist to support the idea of the experiment and examine its impact on popular culture, including movies and books. Finally, we will consider the implications of this experiment. Numerous experiments have been carried out throughout the history of science, leading to many important advancements in our understanding and use of technology. This experimentation has been rewarded with awards for researchers and inventors who made these discoveries. The very foundation of discovery is experimentation. Without it, we would not be able to make any significant progress in our scientific knowledge. Our current level of scientific knowledge is due largely to the pioneering work done by forerunners who dared to consider possibilities that may have seemed impossible at first glance. Military personnel have also experienced testing since World War I, as they are often subjected to intense scrutiny when a new weapon or piece of equipment is developed. Nikola Tesla was born in 1856 in Croatia and is considered one of the most important scientists and inventors of all time. He had a keen interest in electricity, manifesting itself through patents related to motors, transformers, and electrical transmission systems. He also explored the idea of wireless power transfer and conducted experiments exploring this concept. These experiments were revolutionary for their time as they demonstrated that it was possible to move energy without any cables or wires. The US government became increasingly interested in Tesla's work during World War II due to its potential applications for military purposes, thus leading them to conduct one of their most contentious tests ever in 1943 using knowledge gained from some of his trials. His discoveries proved to be revolutionary, allowing for the development of new technologies which would ultimately lead to the Second Industrial Revolution. Throughout his career, he made numerous important contributions to science and technology, including the invention of alternating current, AC, fluorescent lighting, radio transmission technology, the basis for modern wireless communication, and remote control. He also helped pioneer the use of X-rays in medical diagnosis. In 1891 he moved from Europe to America, where he eventually became an American citizen. His work is considered by many as having been instrumental in sparking this period of industrial transformation which changed how society works today. Tesla's development of the AC motor was a key breakthrough that allowed businesses like General Electric to take Thomas Edison's ideas about electricity and distribute it across long distances. This technology would form the basis for today's electricity distribution systems. Many of Tesla's inventions, which have gone on to influence modern-day technology, have been protected by patents from the United States Patent Office. However, many of Tesla's discoveries were not given patents due to their controversial or absurd nature. As a result, he earned the reputation of being what detractors called a crazy scientist. It is important to remember though that some of the experiments that gave him this label were actually investigations into Albert Einstein's theories, something which made them appear strange but still showed Tesla's dedication to furthering scientific knowledge. Tesla had numerous experiments involving light, one being his idea to turn objects invisible by bending light around them. This concept of an invisibility cloak or veil of invisibility has been studied by German scientists as recently as November 2010, where they utilized some of Tesla's early work in order to develop their own theories on how this could be possible. The results are still inconclusive, but it shows that this incredible invention is not out of reach for modern science and technology. A veil of invisibility might become more than just a dream within our lifetime. The scientific community has come to an agreement that it may take several years to develop a cloak of invisibility. However, they have also reached a unanimous consensus that the concept is not only possible but feasible. This renewed interest in Nikola Tesla's work was sparked by the United States government during World War II when they sought a tactical advantage over their enemies. Now, Tesla's contributions are being studied and explored once again, and scientists around the world are hoping to recreate his inventions with modern technology. The first mention of the Philadelphia experiment comes from a book written by Morris K. Jessup in 1955 entitled The Case for the UFO. In this book, Jessup suggested that the U.S. Navy had conducted an experiment involving invisibility in 1943 at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. The story quickly gained traction and became an urban legend. The senior government authorities had heard about Tesla's experiments with invisibility and were interested to see if they could use his work to develop revolutionary technologies that would give them an edge over their enemies. To verify whether these claims held any truth, the government decided to finance further research projects and keep all information related to these ventures highly confidential. Through this undertaking, they hoped to gain a better understanding of Tesla's technology and determine if it had the potential for military applications. The results of the experiments were closely monitored by top officials in order to ensure that no details leaked out and jeopardized security. The purpose of the experiment was to make an entire ship invisible to radar. It was believed that by using electricity and magnets, a powerful electromagnetic field could be generated around the ship that would hide it from enemy radar. This would effectively render the ship invisible and make it undetectable by enemy forces. The USS Eldridge was allegedly used as a test subject for an experiment conducted by the US government at Pennsylvania's Philadelphia Navy Yard to Pennsylvania in 1943. The goal of this experiment was to see if it would be possible to make physical objects invisible through manipulating light waves using powerful electric generators and lab animals. Unfortunately, declassified records revealed that despite the ship's successful disappearance, many of the laboratory animals perished or were severely burned due to radiation exposure. As a result of this tragic outcome, it was decided that no further tests would involve human subjects based on their findings from this one single instance. The Philadelphia experiment story suggests the United States government used advanced technology to make a U.S. Navy vessel, the USS Eldridge, invisible and teleported from its berth on October 28, 1943. Conspiracy theorists believe the U.S. government tested this same ship once more with a fully staffed crew in order to replicate or improve upon their original results. There have been many theories about what actually occurred during these events, as well as speculation about what kind of technology was employed, including Tesla coils and electromagnetism. However, there has never been any scientific evidence found to back up these claims, and most historians agree that this experiment never happened at all. According to some accounts, the experiment was a success and the ship disappeared from view for several moments before reappearing in a different location. Other accounts claim that some of those on board experienced time shifts as well as physical and psychological effects from exposure to the electromagnetic field. Still other accounts spoke of teleportation, suggesting that the ship had been transported to another location instantaneously. The stories surrounding the Philadelphia experiment have been circulating for years, but none of them align with factual evidence. The United States Navy has categorically denied that such an experiment ever took place. In particular, records from the USS Eldridge show that it never went to Philadelphia during the time period in question. Despite this, some people believe that these logs were altered by the government in order to hide any information about a secret experiment conducted there. The crew members' reports of their experience have caused the public to become even more intrigued by the possibility that this experiment actually happened. The stories they told were strange and unsettling, involving time travel, brainwashing, and terrible fates for some participants. Hollywood quickly jumped on these tales as a source of inspiration, creating novels and movies which further fed the speculation among conspiracy theorists. These works have only added fuel to the fire when it comes to discussion about what really occurred during this mysterious event, with theories becoming increasingly wilder as each piece of evidence is explored in greater detail. The most common source of evidence for the Philadelphia experiment are testimonies from witnesses who claim to have seen or experienced something unusual during the experiment. These accounts range from sightings of strange lights to reports of crew members being teleported off the ship. However, it is important to note that many of these accounts are anecdotal and unverifiable, making them unreliable sources of evidence. The ship had mysteriously vanished during the experiment for as long as 4 hours, according to numerous witnesses and crew members. Upon its return, a strange greenish cloud was surrounding it and some of the men were even on fire. As they disembarked, it became apparent that the entire crew had become ill from the experience. Sadly, some of them had passed away after suffering from heart attacks or losing their minds due to extreme terror during the ordeal. Even more disturbing was that some of them had gone missing entirely without a trace. The graphic details provided by these former crew members have horrified many individuals who heard about this story. However, others have been inspired by their accounts to look further into what really happened during those 4 hours in order to uncover any truth behind their accusations. The former USS Eldridge crew members' claims are remarkable, and the details of their stories add to the mystery. According to them, they not only traveled through time from 1943 Philadelphia to 1983 Montauk, New York during the Philadelphia experiment, but also experienced a time loop in which they were able to go back and forth between those two dates. The American government is said to have conducted top-secret time travel experiments as part of the Montauk Project. However, there is no concrete evidence that this was true. While many people remain skeptical about these claims due to lack of factual evidence or scientific proof, some insist that there is enough anecdotal evidence and testimony from crew members that support their assertions. Researchers have attempted to recreate similar experiments in order to test their feasibility. However, these studies have failed to produce any results that would suggest that such an experiment could be successful or even possible. In addition, there is no scientific evidence to suggest that a powerful enough electromagnetic field could be generated to make a ship invisible or teleported elsewhere. However, there are also claims that have been backed up by scientific theory that is widely accepted by the scientific community. The unified field theory is one such example of a hypothesis with uncertain results. It suggests that all physical forces in nature could be unified under one single force, but this is yet to be fully confirmed due to its complexity. The theory of everything is another name for the unified field theory and has been studied by some of the world's greatest minds since its conception. Albert Einstein, in particular, tried unsuccessfully for the majority of his life to find evidence to support this theory. This theory aims to combine all of the knowledge we have obtained through electromagnetic, quantum mechanics, and gravity into a single understanding of how the universe functions. Scientists believe that if they were able to discover evidence that supported such a hypothesis, it would help them comprehend complex ideas like time travel. Einstein thought it was feasible for us to travel across time based on his studies and published papers, which are often referred as evidence by conspiracy theorists who think that the Philadelphia experiment actually happened. People are now asking if governments around the world are still trying to make something like this happen today. The US Navy has acknowledged that it has conducted experiments related to invisibility technology. However, the service denies ever utilizing humans for such purposes in its formal response to theorists' claims. In recent years, there have been numerous speculations from researchers and academics about whether or not the military was using humans as test subjects in invisibility-related projects. The Navy's official stance is that they have never used people as part of these experiments, and their response serves as an effort to quell any further accusations or inquiries into this matter. The Philadelphia experiment has had a large impact on popular culture over the years. It has been featured in numerous movies, books, video games, and television shows. Many of these works take creative license with the story, often embellishing or fabricating details in order to create more exciting narratives. As such, it is important to approach these works with caution and not take them as fact. In conclusion, while there is no evidence that suggests that the Philadelphia experiment occurred, it remains one of the most famous urban legends in history. It has captivated people for decades with its mysterious nature and its implications for time travel and teleportation technology. For a paranormal investigator, this experiment may offer some insight into how modern science might be able to unlock such powers in the future.